Here we go. So I want to make a video real quick about the 4.5 homework, which was volume of things that are not prisms. Okay, so we have three different ideas that we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on the cone, the pyramid, and the sphere. So the first picture that we do have is the cone. All right. So when we know that and we identify that, let's take the equation from it. All right. Now, part of this, remember we started volume equals the base area times the height. Well, technically and that's for a prism, okay? So this is our prism equation that we've been following. Now, we actually don't have a prism. We have something that comes to a point. And if it comes to a point, your brain at some point needs to say, oh, I only have a third of what my figure actually is. Because if we were to go all the way up and create this silo, that would be the whole volume. But we only have a cone. So what's going to happen is we actually only have a third of the actual figure that we're talking about. Now, our base area, still with the prisms, is the same. So we have to focus on what is our base shape at the bottom, okay? And hopefully we see a circle. So to find the area of a circle is pi r squared. So when we look at this, my radius equals 7, because from outside of the circle to the center, you can see that distance is 7. So my area is going to equal pi 7 squared, which is 49 pi. And then if we took 49 times it by 3.14, it would give us that value that we're looking for. So when we look at this volume now, we have 1/3. This BA actually becomes pi r squared, and then we just times it by the height, which if we go back to our cheat sheet, look at that, 1/3 pi r squared times h. That's where that equation comes from, okay? So take our values now, and I'm going to change my color. I'm going to do v equals 1/3 pi times 7 squared times my height. Now the height goes from the center of my object up to the point. Okay? Maybe I should have picked a different color. Boom. And you can see that that height is 13. So this is a cone. This was my prism. Okay. So now once we do that, we did get 1/3, we did get 49 pi, and we do have 13. Now we want to multiply all of that together, and once we do that, let's pull out some Desmos. So 1/3 times pi times 49 times 13. Oops, 13. We get 667. So then that means we have 667. If you want to look at the decimals, that 6 rounds the 0 to a 1, so you could say put 0.1 if you want, or just leave it, at 667. Choice is all yours. Okay? Now, let's look at some justification real quick. So this is the cone or pyramid. Equation. Now, because we have a circle as our base shape, we use this formula. Then we substitute our numbers in. Simplify, and combine like terms. And instead of simplify, we could have said exponents, because we got rid of the exponents, and then combine like terms. Or you could have put multiply. All of that works, okay? All right, on to our pyramid. Okay. So with our pyramid, once again, it comes to a point. The point is very important to us because it tells us 1/3 base area times the height. Now my base shape is a rectangle. And the rectangle for the area of a rectangle is length times width. So when I look at this, I'm focused solely on this rectangle. That's the bottom of my pyramid. So if that's the case, my area equals 5 times my width being 6. And then my area equals 30. Okay, with my volume formula for a pyramid, I'm going to do length times width times height. Excuse me. Chop it into a third. So with that, we're doing 1/3 times 5 times 6, and then the height of my pyramid. Look at the height right here. The height of my pyramid is 11. Now, we already did 5 times 6, and we got 30. Oops. My brain's going a little too fast for me. I know 30 divided by 3, or 1/3 times 30. So if we're dealing with fractions, it's 1/3 times 30 over 1. And we're just going to multiply straight across. So we get 30 over 3, and 30 divided by 3 is just going to be a 10. Okay, so my volume is going to be 10 times 11. Anytime you have a 10, just add a 0 on to the other one, and we have 110. Okay, so volume formula. And then we have a rectangle base. We substitute our values in. We can combine like terms if you want, multiply, however you want. We can do, I'm just going to put combine like terms. We could put multiply, 5 times 6. Now, dealing with the fraction. Dealing with the fraction is this piece right here, and then we did multiplication again and got our solution. All right, so that takes care of our pyramid, and then the last one we have to do is our sphere. And our sphere is a little different altogether. Like this, if there was kind of the odd one out, it will be the sphere. Now, if we start to think about base area times the height. Let's see if I can do this. So we know the base area is pi r squared. That's simple enough. That's just a circle. But it's not on the bottom or the top. So what we have, we just have the area of the circle. What we also have is another circle. Now the height, if we were to go from the center up to our figure, our height is going to be the radius as well, because it's from the center of the circle up to any point out on the circle. Out on the circle or the sphere, you can think about it that way. And if I look at this, Oh. How can I get 4/3 into that game without getting too crazy? I don't think I can. Oops. Not squared. I need it cubed. So it's going to be 4/3 pi r cubed. I will tell you that if you take the SAT, ACT, any of those tests, they actually have a formula sheet for you, and you would see this formula. It's more about being able to utilize and use the formula than it is to memorize it or derive it. Excuse me. Oh, wrong. Okay. So we have... I'm just going to steer clear of this idea right now. So I have the equation of a sphere. I combine like terms. And now I'm going to find my radius, which is from the center out. So my radius equals 9. That's given information. The picture tells me that. So I definitely want that to be given. And then I'm going to take my radius and plug it into my problem. Okay, so that's substitution. Now, 9 cubed, I don't know, 81 times 9, whatever that comes out to be. And you're like, 81 times 9, but what's 9 times 9? Isn't that 81? And times another, times another 9. That is where our 729 comes from, okay? So this becomes V equals 4/3, then 729 pi. Now, so we got rid of the exponent. So rid of exponents. Okay, now I'm going to do 4/3 times 729 over 1. And that's going to give me 4 times 729, which is a big number. Oh, that's because it was a new line. 4 times 729, 2,916. And we're going to divide that by 3. So let's go back here, and then we can divide by 3. Oh. So 2916 divided by 3. And we should get 972. 972. So now V equals 972 pi. So multiply the numbers together. And now we're going to simplify with pi. So we can do 972 pi, which is 3053.6. 3053.6. So that would be my volume once I multiply by pi. Okay? So there's our solution for our 3 homework problems. So I'm going to stop recording.